My name is Robert McCarthy. I'm the author of this chapter, Organization Development and Trust, the Heart of Practice. I'd like to talk with you a bit about this chapter. It is distilled from my book, Navigating with Trust, published in 2012 by Rockbench. I've been an organization development consultant for 36 years, a manager, training consultant before that. I've had the opportunity to learn from the founders of the field and to work with many of them as colleagues. This notion of trust has many definitions, and it becomes very complicated when you look at long lists that describe all the behaviors that are necessary for a leader or for you as a practitioner to develop trust. I'd like to offer you an alternative. That alternative is that trust is a fairly simple idea based on interests. When we listen to the interests of others and take them into account in how we behave, we create trust. My definition of it in the book and here in this chapter is: trust is my belief that you will look after my interests in my absence. We could also say trust is your knowing I have your back, no matter what. There are four areas where trust is relevant to the work we do. In the performance of organizations, trust is essential. Trust is at the heart of organization development. Trust in our relationship with the people we work with. And trust in ourselves. So let's look at these. Maybe the easiest way to say it is, when the leaders of a company take their employees' interests to heart, they wind up on Fortune's 100 Best Company list. Because that's essentially what that list of companies is. Leaders who have made a conscious choice that the people they work with, the interests of those people, is as important as stockholders and the executives. If you look at 15 years of those surveys by Fortune 100 companies, what you find is their stock price has doubled over those companies listed in Standard & Poor's 500 average and Russell 300 average. The stock of these companies has doubled. That's performance. There is no way for a company to have sustained high performance unless people are willing to give of themselves, their energies, and their commitments. We know that's increasingly rare these days. And when that happens, productivity and creativity and all of that is lost. We get it back by building trust. So let's talk about trust as a foundation of organization development. It's a central value. There's not one intervention that we have, not one method, not one process, that doesn't focus on engaging all of the opinions, the interests of individuals. From that, we know that better ideas emerge, creativity emerges, and we find solutions to even the most difficult problems. Trust is at the center of organization development. Think about our relationship with those we work with. I won't call them clients. Because I think the client, when we do organization development work, is really the organization. The individuals we work with, particularly those who hire us and who we agree to work with, are our partners. And in order for us to do this work, there must be trust between us. Only with trust can we have authenticity and the candor that's needed for us to collaborate and work together to accomplish the goals that we've agreed to work toward. This authenticity is at the heart of that relationship, and if we do not have it, if we can't develop it, if there's games being played, it's best not to do the work because it won't be successful. It'll be bits and pieces, not significant, transformative work. Finally, we must trust ourselves, who we are as individuals, what we hold to be important, our own interests, and to act accordingly. Because only then can we bring our whole selves to the enterprise. And when we do, we make it possible for those we work with to bring their whole selves to the enterprise. Trust in ourselves is perhaps the biggest challenge of being an OD practitioner. When I was a young man and just starting out, I thought I had to behave in a particular way. I wore a three-piece suit. I had an office in the financial district and a staff. And I found myself to be unhappy. With some risk, my wife and I decided to trade that expense for a sailboat, 41-foot sailboat, which we had refitted and we moored close to downtown Portland by a good restaurant. I was deeply worried that I would not be seen as a professional and discounted. The opposite happened. Those leaders that I was working with and those I hadn't considered found my office intriguing, perhaps because I was more myself. I had followed my interests. That decision also created a life balance for me and my family as we sailed that boat north in the Pacific Ocean up into the Gulf Islands, the San Juan Islands, the wilds of British Columbia, and one year took a sabbatical and sailed our boat to Mexico and wintered there.